I got the hard drive on modulator and the tube gate on even flow. Inside the time space continuator, there's a flex mount that's set to go. This thing is vertical, retractable, reversible, submergible and Germany. And the mechanism cross the divide, multiply and disk drive is Germany. It's Germany.
Hey guys, it's Don Chin here. How are you guys doing on a Saturday night? It feels like a Sunday to me. I don't know about you guys, but this whole Christmas and New Year's has kind of thrown me for a loop. And but today is Saturday, right? It's still Saturday here in California. And I hope you guys are doing well. I just wanted to welcome you to kind of an impromptu, unplanned show tonight. But I'm really excited because we officially launched X-Farce Reloaded on Indiegogo. And if you go to xfarce.com, you can see the page that we have set up for our campaign. This is the first comic book that I've worked on since 2007. And the last book that I did was a book called Heroes with Bill Mouse. And so X-Farce Reloaded is a 48-page comic book that's full color. And if you like X-Men and you like humor, kind of like Mad Magazine and Airplane, this book is for you because we basically poke fun at Marvel Comics. And we have a team of about 12 different creators working on this title. And I have a trailer that we worked on that I'll be playing for you guys in just a little bit. But I wanted to kind of tell you we have a bigger show planned tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time for a couple hours. And we're going to have quite a few of the creators that are working on X-Farce in our chat. Some of them you might know. I think Bill Mouse is going to be here. Keith Gleason. We're hoping that Mike Barron will be able to stop by. We have another talented cartoonist by the name of Ted Hellard. A couple guys from New York who are probably sleeping right now, named Delphin Barrow and Michael Gracia. They should be stopping by as well. So it's going to be a jam-packed show. It won't just be me talking to you, but we should have at least a few different creators on the show talking about X-Farce and what it was like to go through the process of working on this book. The book's been kind of in production for pretty much the last 7 or 8 months. And it is pretty much, I would say it's about 85% completed right now. Let me take off my glasses so you guys don't get the glare off my glasses. And so we just heard from Delphin this week that he's colored most of the interior pages. So we just have a couple outstanding pieces of artwork that we have people working on. And so our anticipated ship date for this comic book will be probably sometime in March or early April 2021. And our goal to make this comic book is very low. Some people put a goal on their comics that's, $10,000. And if they hit that goal, then you're pretty much guaranteed to print it and send it to your customers. Thankfully, because we are doing this kind of as a fun project and to make the world laugh again, which is kind of our motto around here. Our goal for this book is less than $2,000. And I just launched earlier, maybe about an hour and 15 minutes ago. Let me see what we're at right now. I'm not going to refresh this a whole lot, but yeah, we're already at $738 out of a $1,700 flexible goal on Indiegogo. So, we're almost actually almost halfway there, which is good. Thanks, VVW Kitty. I appreciate your support. So what I wanted to do is I was going to kind of give you guys a preview of the format for the show tomorrow. And we're going to have drawings for comics, and we're also having some artwork that the creators have drawn of the X-Farce characters. I'm not exactly sure if we're going to auction those off or do a drawing or something like that. But as an incentive to try to get backers for our campaign, and let me tell you how many we have right now. We have 9 backers for our campaign, and we're at $738. So what I wanted to do tonight was every 15 minutes, I'm going to have a drawing for a free comic book. And the way it works is if you're a backer and you're the first one to post in the comments what backer number you are, you will win that book. And I'll ship it to you along with the other books that you're going to be getting when we finish the campaign and the books are printed. So what I'm going to be giving drawings to tonight are books that we've already done in the past. And a few of them are pretty old, like from the 90s. So out of print, fairly rare. If you try to find these online, they could range anywhere from $10 to $20, and that's not actually even signed. So the first book that I wanted to do was the Adolescent Radioactive Black Belt Hamsters Classics from Parody Press. This reprints the 3D issue that we did in 1987 that I did with Eclipse. And so it's a black and white, kind of a hamsters meets Star Wars spoof. And it also has kind of a tie into the Wizard of Oz as well. So this is an autographed book. And so if you are a backer tonight and you backed it already and you put your name and your backer number in the comments, I will make a note of this. And so when our campaign ends, you will get an extra comic book with your order. So feel free, if you'd like to start right now. I'm going to do another one of these in like around 9:30 my time. So this first person who gets this will get this extra comic book. And if you're the only person watching tonight, you maybe are gonna score some good deals if you're a backer. Because for today, I'm not going to put a limit on how many times you can enter this. I just want to encourage people to go to xfarce.com and back the book. Our tiers start at $25 for the comics, and they go up accordingly. And I'll kind of explain to you what those tiers are in a little bit. But anyways, if you put your name and your backer number in the comments, you will be noted and you'll get this book. So that's our first drawing tonight. And so when I do this tomorrow, it'll be 2 comics every 15 minutes. So if you watch this show, you're kind of getting the heads up on what we're going to do tomorrow. So let me stay hydrated here. Originally, we were going to launch this campaign at midnight tonight, but then I thought, after talking with people that are smarter than me, that launching at midnight is not really that good of an idea, because nobody's going to be up when we end our campaign in 30 days if you started at midnight, because all the West Coast people are probably going to be getting ready to go to bed, and all the East Coast people are already in bed because it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I basically had kind of a brain fart and didn't listen to people that were better thinkers than I was. And so I changed our launch to make it a little bit more palatable for us people that need regular sleep. So my apologies if you were an early sign up person. I sent out 2 emails today, one saying that we were going to launch at midnight. And then a couple hours later, I had to retract that one and say, I'm sorry, we're going to launch this more like 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. So there are, and I wanted to play you folks the trailer to our comic book. And so I'm going to play that. And we put several months to this. All right, Candace, I will put you down. Candace B is our winner for the Hamsters Classics #2. And Candace, you are, congratulations. I appreciate that. Let me write that down. And that is autographed. All these books are signed. They're signed by me on the cover, so you can see in gold ink that it's signed. And I usually throw in my business card in there as well, just kind of confirmation that, you know, it was me that signed it. Not like there's Don Chin counterfeiters out there, but it gives you a little bit more legit when you display it in your collection. So anyways, if some of you out there aren't familiar with what X-Farce is, X-Farce was a comic book that I did back in the 90s for Eclipse Comics. And it was a parody of the X-Men, most notably X-Force, which was a book that a guy named Rob Liefeld put out. And Rob is, he's kind of a legend in the industry now. He's gone on and done, most people know him for X-Force, but a lot of people know him because he created Deadpool, the character that's the big, movie star now with Ryan Reynolds. And Deadpool actually kind of interacted with X-Force back in the 90s before he got his own series. So X-Farce was the book that we did, and it was only in black and white back then. So we decided to what would be the word? We remastered it. That's the good word. We remastered it and we made it full digital color. Do I know if Rob ever read it? I don't know, Rob. Let me put your comment on the screen there. I don't know. I've tweeted to him and he usually ignores me. So I think I'm like a pesky fly to Rob. It's like, hey, there's this Chin guy that's always coming around and making fun of my books and trying to ride on my coattails. And so I actually reached out to him on Twitter and said, we're going to be doing this X-Farce Reloaded book next year. And this was in 2020. Would you possibly be interested in doing a cover? And so I never heard from him. But funny thing is that a few weeks later, after I asked him if he might want to do a cover for us, because believe it or not, back in 1992, Todd McFarlane was supposed to do the cover to this book for Eclipse because the editor knew him fairly well. And if he would have had a cover on this, I think we would have, sold even more than what we did. But we actually sold about 60 to 70,000 copies of a parody, which was only in black and white. So that's pretty good. I mean, this is actually one of the best-selling comic books that I've ever been involved with. The Hamsters did really well. They sold, I think the first issue of the Hamsters was around 53,000 copies. But X-Farce, just based on the buzz of X-Force, sold tremendously well. And for some reason, Todd McFarlane fell through on this. So Bill Mouse, who's the interior artist, and Bob Hannon, who's also the interior artist, they were the ones that wound up drawing the cover on this. And if you can see out there, I have very few of these in my collection, even though they print a lot. But this is one of the few that actually has Bill's signature on it. And Bill lives in Virginia. Hi, Ayrton. Nice to see you. Bill is a great artist. He's amazing. He should be on our stream tomorrow. And as part of our campaign, if you guys haven't checked out the page yet, we are offering his original artwork, which is a beautiful 11 by 17 pencil drawing. So this is like suitable for framing. And I have it in nice, plastic protective coating right now. So if you want to buy this cover, we have it for sale for like I think it's for $600 is the price of that, which isn't a bad deal if you consider a lot of people pay thousands of dollars for comic book covers, and Bill is an established veteran. Well, since we have a decent crowd here tonight, I'm going to go ahead and play the trailer for you guys. I'm just kind of learning the ropes on this streaming software, but I think I can play it for you. So I'm going to play you this trailer, and then when we come back, we should be close to having the second comic book drawing for like 9:30 my time. So I'm going to go ahead and play you guys our trailer for X-Farce Reloaded, and this will be the long version. There's a couple versions online. One's 1 minute, and the other one's like 2 minutes. So you'll get a treat tonight and get to see the long version. So here you go.
My name is Professor Baldy, and I run a school for juvenile delinquents. But not just any delinquents. Mine are specially gifted. You might even call them mutants. Trust a few reformed ex-cons. Tangerine.
Am I the apple of your eye, Bubba?
Jeannie Gray. Beastie Boy.
Everybody dance now.
Snow Cone.
Is it hot in here, or is it just me?
And their friends from X-Farce. Cable TV.
Eat remote control, frog face.
Garfarel. Meow. Dominoes.
This book has just the right amount of cheese.
And introducing the Newt Mutants. Beware the rest. Magneto. Mistress Piggy. And not at all breaking the fourth wall. Cesspool. Now, Heritage Press Comics is back with X-Farce Reloaded #1. Don't miss this extraordinary comics extravaganza with 7 full color stories of marvelous mutant mayhem. Back this book today for awesome variant covers and original artwork tiers. 48 pages of action and hilarious hijinks by some of comics' funniest talents. Heritage Press, making the world laugh again. Only on Indiegogo.
Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. Hopefully you enjoyed that trailer. It took us quite a few months to get that ready for you. Quite a few different talents contributed to that. Besides the amazing artwork from X-Farce by all of our talented artists, we actually had some voice talent that we found. So Patrick Stewart was a little too beyond our reach, but we had a nice guy that did a great imitation of him, which you heard in that trailer. And he also did some of the other people in the trailer, like the Beastie Boy guy. That was his voice. He did the cable TV voice. And so his name is Christopher. I think he's up in Canada, but we work with him. Once our trailer script was ready, I went out and looked at different people that could do good Patrick Stewart. And then the voices that were female, and there were actually my wife, Laura, who is co-publisher for this book, and she's like a graphics whiz, but she's also got a really great singing voice, as well as that's kind of her first voice acting that she's ever done. But we thought that a lot of people see trailers and they're for comics, and the graphics generally are kind of what sell the book. And we thought that, well, we have really good graphics, but what would kind of make our trailer stand out? So we thought that having vocal talent in it that makes it even funnier would be something that would make it enjoyable. So hopefully you enjoyed that little 2-minute trailer. And Candace, I'm really glad you're here. Wow, you're a diehard. It's 1:30 a.m. where you're at. I appreciate that for the trailer. So if you want to keep watching that trailer, folks, it's on YouTube on my channel. It's also on the Indiegogo campaign. So, feel free to watch it as many times as you want. Spread the word if you like. Go ahead and share it with your friends. We have a Facebook page. We're on Twitter. We're on, I'm on Instagram. And so anyways, we're just kind of kicking this off low key. I know a lot of people usually expect, fireworks and stuff tonight. But like I said before, we were planning on doing our launch at 12 midnight. And then I thought, no one's going to be up at 12 midnight. So here I am kind of having to eat crow. And thankfully, my wife was cool enough to say, just, go ahead and do your thing. So with that in mind, it is 9:30 my time. And as I said at the beginning of this show, I'm going to give you guys a chance to win comic book number 2 tonight. So the way it works is after I say put in your backer number, after the first person to do it I will give you this comic book. So the comic book that's the second prize tonight is Clint the Hamster Triumphant number 1 from Eclipse Comics. This was like in 1987. It's a black and white book. So if you are a backer, feel free to put in your backer number. There are no limits to how many you can win tonight. Tomorrow, I'll probably limit it to like 1 winner per drawing because we're going to give away 2 books every 15 minutes. But for tonight, if you guys want to put in your backer number, I see a couple of people I know that are backers, and I think they're friends with each other, but Gospel of Comics, you win. You win an autographed copy of Clint the Hamster Triumphant by myself, Ken Meyer Jr., and Mike Dragenberg from Eclipse Comics. This was actually one of my favorite black and white books. It's very well illustrated by Ken and Mike, and it looks much different than the Personovich hamsters. This is more like what you'd expect from kind of like Marvel and DC. Sorry, Ayrton, but hang in there, buddy. There's still 2 more drawings tonight, okay? So the third drawing will be for Clint number 2. So if Ayrton wins it, Church or Gospel and Ayrton are going to have to share. You guys will have to trade off comics in the mail or something like that. So Ayrton, I'm going to mark your name down here. Hang on, buddy. No, I'm sorry, Ayrton, you didn't win. Wait, I'm sorry, you did win. All right, Ayrton, you beat Gospel in my chat. You were both at 931. Wait a second. Candace, I think you won. Oh man. Oh, I'm blind. Candace has won 2 tonight. She was before either one of you guys in the chat. So I'm sorry, gentlemen. Ayrton and Church, you guys did, you guys didn't win Clint number 1. It was Candace again, who's even at 1:30 in the morning, she's more alert than either one of us. So Candace, good job. I will mark you down. All right. So at 9:45 in 15 minutes, I will have another drawing for Clint number 2. Okay, guys. So Let me set a timer on my phone so I make sure. Set an alarm for 9:45 p.m.
I set your alarm for 9:45 p.m.
All right, so good old Australian Siri is going to remind me at 9:45 that we're going to do another drawing. So while we're here, folks, I'm going to go ahead and refresh the page. Actually, I'm going to just share you the page, our Indiegogo campaign. And let's see here. Okay, so if you go to xfarce.com or you go to Indiegogo for tonight or for the next 30 days during our campaign, you're going to see a screen that looks like this. And so the trailer that I just played you, if you wanted to watch it again, you could play it again by clicking this cute little video, and you can kind of preview some of the images from the campaign by clicking. There's Cesspool. There's a 2-page spread by Bill, and there's kind of like the cool promo graphic. This graphic will actually be on the X-Farce. We have a special tier where you get a lunchbox and a ceramic mug. And so if you decide that you want to get that tier, this is the image that will be on the lunchbox. And then the cover that Bill Mouse did, the new cover that he did last year in 2020, that's the image that we plan to put on the mug. So let me go ahead and refresh and see if we've made any other backers. Oh yeah, we got a little bit more money. We're creeping up to like $800. So we have, according to the little board here, we have 10 backers, and our goal is 1,700. So we're almost we're at 46% of that, which is awesome. So if you scroll down here, you can kind of see what we have going. This is the cover that Bill Mouse did with brand new coloring, and that's the piece that we have for sale if you want to buy it penciled for $600. And then here on the right is the different perks that you could buy. So if you want to get all 3 different cover versions that we're doing, you could click here and you will get X-Farce Reloaded number 1, which is the Bill Mouse cover. You'll get the X-Cons number 1A, which is a variant cover. And then X-Farce 1B, I don't have the artwork for that yet. That's going to be by a really, really talented guy named Rob Willis, and he's in the process of working on that piece. And then New Mutants that you see here, that's going to be, at this point, the back cover on all the books that we do. And I'll show you that in a little bit more detail. So if you want to make sure you get all 3 variants, this would be the tier to get, which is the featured tier. However, if you just want to buy comic books individually, you just can have your choice of either one of the 3 that I just described for $25 each. And I wanted to tell you, all these come autographed at no extra charge. So when you buy these and you check out, you can specify whether you want them signed or not. And I would be happy to sign them for you. So anyways, we're going to scroll down here. And so it's a 48-page anthology of X-Men spoofs. And we spoof everything from the 1960s X-Men all the way up to the current 2020 House of X, Powers of X storyline. So 7 different stories. About 30 of these pages have been printed in the past, but never in color. So showing you right now, this is one of the pages that's going to be in the book from the 1960s X-Cons parody. So you can see the artist on this, his name is Mark Lewis. And when I saw his portfolio back in the 90s, I said, this guy looks like he could do a really good Jack Kirby spoof. And, he nails it. He's super detailed and really a perfectionist when it comes to emulating. And so, and then we asked Kurt Hathaway, who actually lettered this. He was also talented as an inker. And Kurt's lettered, hundreds of titles for different publishers from Marvel to DC, but somehow we connected, and he was basically the Parody Press letterer, for most of the 90s for us. So he did a lot of work with me and Bill Mouse, and pretty much any Image comic book parody that we did, Kurt would be the letterer on it, which was kind of ironic because Kurt was working for Rob Liefeld at the same time he was doing books for us. So he knows a lot of the guys that hung out with Rob back in the day. But this is kind of a cool action panel in the book where Magneto, who is our arch nemesis, he's trying to get back at the ex-cons for ruining his life. So you've got Beastie Boy and Anglo, Snow Cone, and then Dumb Coughs is the guy that is our parody of Cyclops. Here's something over here on the right, the Parody Press Vault Pack. So if you guys are big collectors of our parody books that we did back in the 90s, we're going to make a few of these limited vault packs available. So you'll get 5 assorted Parody Press comics, all signed. It'll be our choice, limited to stock on hand, but I don't really have too many of the Parody Press books around anymore. I have a lot of the Entity comic books like Zen and Near X, but the Parody Press books, my wife and I, we had moved cross country a few times, and then we back to Northern California. So in the process of that, we kind of pared down what belongings we took. So I only have, a small box and quantities of Parody Press comics. So you'll be getting your choice of 5. Not your choice, but my choice of 5 Parody Press issues if you want to get some of the older stuff, and those will all be autographed. And then if you want to get a 6-pack of the comics, that's $150. And then we have a retailer tier available as well. So if you're a retailer and you want to get 10 books to resell to your clients, those will also be available for a little bit of a discount, and those are signed. And there's Cesspool in all of his pungent glory. One of the things that I wanted to say is if we have these certain stretch goals in our campaign, and if by some miracle we hit like 50,000 in funding, the plan is to give everybody that backs the book a Cesspool whoopee cushion. And I just thought that would be apropos for him. And see over here on the right is where you can start buying original artwork. Mark Lewis, we have a nice pencil sketch by him of his cover, and that's $325, and that comes with an autographed copy of the comic book that he did. Right here in the center is a panel from the New Mutants, and this is by Thad Rhodes. Let me take a little drink of water here. Thad was a friend of Bill's, who also lives over in Virginia. And Thad just had this really cool painted style back when I first met him, and he still uses that style today. But it's kind of like a photorealistic, cartoony style. Thad did some work with us on Entity Comics, and he did work on Near X as well as Heavy Metal Magazine. But his back cover that we have is just absolutely amazing, and I'll show you that. But this character that I'm kind of highlighting in the middle of our campaign, this is if you saw the New Mutants, or you read the New Mutants, you'll know there's a character called Wolfsbane, and I think she's kind of like this Scottish girl that can turn into a wolf. So in our New Mutants parody, we rename her Wolfsbane. That's WOOFS Bane. And so she doesn't turn into a wolf. She turns into a Scottish Terrier. It's almost 9:45, so that means it's going to be time for another drawing. So I'll just scroll through here real quick, and you can see this is one of the stories that Mike Barron wrote for our anthology called Professor X Auditions. He's a very funny writer. A lot of people know him from, his science fiction comics and like Nexus and The Badger. Over here on the right, if you are an artwork collector and you want to own one of the pages from the X-Cons, we have 3 pages available that are drawn by Mark Lewis and Kurt Hathaway. These pages are old too. These are from like 92. So you're getting artwork that's almost, pretty much almost 30 years old. And they'll be signed by Kurt. Almost 9:45. Okay, well, let me just give you the plug for the big kahuna here. So if someone wants to get all the 3 issues that we're offering, as well as some really cool bonus items, we have the X-Farce Colossal Executive Box. And so not only will you get all 3 issues autographed, you'll also get a metal lunchbox with the X-Farce team on it. And then you'll get the ceramic mug that's with the color cover of the X-Farce on it. Oh, yep, that's my buzzer for the drawing. So I'll get back to that in a second. And then Bill Mouse is also doing limited number of sketch cards, like pen and ink sketch cards for that tier. So that's $200. And then you'll also get any of the stretch goals that we hit along the way. So let me go back to here. Okay, so Ayrton, you need that whoopee cushion? Would you take it to work, or they might get you fired? I don't know. We'll see. Hey, Critical Blast, RJ, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming. It's good to see you. Oh, I got 14, 15 people here. Man, you guys got nothing better to do than to hang out with Don Chen. I'm honored, really, I am. I know there's a lot of other people streaming right now with, bigger titles and whatnot. And this is kind of our first crack at it in quite a while. And I've met some great people along the way, including Ayrton and RJ and BB Kitty. All you guys are awesome. So it's 9:46 now. So I'm going to do a countdown for this next book. Don't put it in yet. If anyone is new to the chat tonight, I'm basically saying, if you've backed our book, and which you can do by going to the xfarce.com website or to Indiegogo, you get a backer number. And so what I'm doing is every 15 minutes, I've been telling people that if you're a backer, if you're the first one to put your backer number in the comments, you will win a signed book. And so I've already given away 2 tonight. So this is the 3rd one, and it is the 2nd issue of Clint the Hamster Triumphant with Eclipse Comics. All right. So it's also in black and white. And this is some of the best artwork I think that was ever in the Hamsters. Ken and Mike are more like your classic illustrators, more so than comic book artists, even though they are really good comic book art. A lot of action in this. This is like a solo adventure if Clint was kind of like a one-man army. And Ken Meyer, he actually drew this cover as well, which is a spoof of Apocalypse Now, starring Marlon Brando. So, okay, I'm going to count down from 5. And so the first person to put your backer number in the comments is going to win this comic book, and it'll ship with your other X-Farce books. So here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. I'm still waiting to refresh. If you guys are still out there and you back this comic book is still available. And if you're late to the game, you still might have a shot at it. You could go back the campaign, come back with a number. If you don't win this one, you have a decent chance. Oh, Candace. Candace is 3 for 3 tonight. Ayrton, I don't know if you were drinking tonight, but it's kind of something is dulling your senses, my friend. You're just a little late to the party. But anyways, Candace, congratulations. You are making it worth your while to stay up, and I'm so glad that you're going to make it easy for me to ship these all to you instead of to everybody else. But Erin, she might fall asleep if I go a little late. You might have a chance. So, Candace, let me make a note again that you won a third comic book, and you can come back again tomorrow, Candace. There'll be different books. Oh. Ayrton, the truth comes out. He's had a couple pints. Oh my gosh, that's too funny. All right, so anyways, that's our third drawing tonight. Let me show you this is the piece by Mark Lewis that he did to lay out the cover. He was very he's a shy artist, and he actually doesn't let a lot of his artwork go out of his collection. I think he's held on to most of the artwork that he's done for us. Because I asked him, would you consider selling any of your X-Cons pages to fans for this campaign? And he said, no, I'd rather not. However, Kurt, who was the letterer and the inker, he had a different feeling about that. So there are some pages that he did for Parody Press that he would rather not part with, but he had 3 pages that he got for inking the X-Cons, and I think they're pages 7, 9, and 10. So those are still available if you want to buy them. But we also have this cool sketch that he did of his X-Cons cover. And so this you can buy for $325, but it comes signed by Mark, as you can see. And it also comes with his comic book variant cover that will be signed by myself. So that's still out there if you want to buy it. What else can I show you guys? Well, we still have about 6 people here. You guys have any questions for me about the campaign, or what else we're doing? We have other books that are kind of waiting in the wings. Beardzerker is a book that we're excited about. It's a parody of Berserker by Keanu Reeves, and I'll be highlighting some of that in the future, but it's still kind of premature right now. We're still getting kind of our ducks in a row for Beardzerker. But go ahead and see how the campaign is doing. I'm just curious. Hopefully I'll get some sleep tonight. It's kind of this rush of adrenaline you get when you launch a book, and you've worked months to see it come to fruition, and now this is kind of where the rubber meets the road. You have to actually put it out there in the universe and hope that it comes, good things come from it. So, we're going to be happy when this comes out. People will get to read it and hopefully have a good chuckle about it. And I enjoy it. I've enjoyed not just seeing the old stuff kind of remastered, but working on some new stories as well. So, this is a lot of fun. Kind of reuniting the band of merry men from Parody Press. And comic books are kind of a lost art form, but people are it's like Marvel and DC are starting to kind of like shrink the amount of comic books that they're coming out with, and the industry as a whole, it doesn't seem like it's super healthy, because sales seem to be kind of on the decline. However, I think if creators are able to go directly to their audience, kind of like what we're doing, there's a chance that you could still make a living doing it. It's unfortunate that the cover prices have to kind of be quite a bit higher than if you were to buy them, like normally comics are about $5 a piece, but because print runs are lower, our costs are higher. So we kind of have to make things, the ends justify the means, and that means charging more for a book. So let's see, we have some questions here. Rob, he says, if X-Farce #1 was the highest selling, what was the second? Jan? Actually, Rob, X-Farce #1 was Eclipse. So that was in 92 when that book came out. And then Eclipse, either they were kind of starting to look like they were going to close up shop, or Bill, my wife Laura, and I decided that we should just publish our own parodies, and we don't have to basically rely on somebody saying yes or no to our projects. And I think we kind of saw that doing the comic books ourselves and not having more pieces of the pie to go out to people could sustain us if we did our numbers right, and we just kept production costs fairly low, and as long as the print run was enough to pay people, that was kind of our goal. So when it comes to Parody Press, the #1 seller, I think Jan might have been one of the best-selling Parody Press books. Anything that was kind of image related at the time, we did Jan, and we did the Sewage Dragoon, and we did instead of Youngblood, we had Old Blood, and we did all sorts of image parodies. Shadow, this one, let me see if I can find this. Yeah, this one. If people remember, there was a book called Shadowhawk that Jim Valentino did. It was kind of like a Batman type of character. And when the cover for I keep getting them mixed up. When the cover for Shadowhawk came out, it caught everybody's eye on the comic book shelf, because it was like this sleek jet black cover, but he paid to have the foil on it, like a really cool silver foil on it. And then on top of that, besides the black and silver, which was quite eye-catching, it's actually embossed. So that's what Shadowhawk did on his comic book. And you can see, I don't know if you can really see that well, but we actually embossed this cover too. It was the only thing we ever had embossed. So this is like really kind of an expensive, for a spoof, a pretty expensive comic book, because we had to pay for printing enhancements. And at the time in the 90s, we charged $3 for this. Most books were probably around like $2, but we paid $3 for this. And so this is basically our take of Shadowhawk, but instead of being kind of a night avenger, he was more like a basketball player as a superhero. Because I grew up with the Harlem Globetrotters, as probably like a lot of you guys did. So you remember Meadowlark Lemon and Curly Neal. So instead of Shadowhawk, we made it Meadowlark. And so he's really talented at throwing basketballs at hoodlums. Anyways, hey Ray, thanks for joining, buddy. I think you still have a wrench, right? Tell me that Ray is one of my moderators, and I didn't give him a lot of heads up that I was going to kind of do a stream on the fly tonight, but he graciously comes in and makes sure that you guys don't get too unruly. So he has the power, I think, to mute trolls. Not to say I have any trolls in the audience, but hey Rob, I'm glad that you had them all, that you had you on, and Bill Mouse did a lot of these. This was actually I think Bill did the cover to this, but Bob Hannon, Bob Hannon was the artist on the inside of the book, and Bob was one of the artists on X-Farce as well. And then Wayne Foucher, who's in the credits, he was the inker. He was a friend of Kurt Hathaway's, who was our letterer. And then Wayne did a lot of not just parody books for us, but he did a lot of Zen Intergalactic Ninja. And whenever Wayne inked a book, I knew it was always going to look really crisp. It was going to be really clean, and it was going to be on time. So he had like these three things that is a rarity in the comic book business is a self-discipline, because that's the thing with these artists. You got to keep them in line, otherwise your books will be late. And when you have an assembly line of talent, you have a penciler, you have an inker, and you have a letterer, and then you have your colorist. So it's not all one person that's making a comic book. It kind of goes in stages. And so anyone that bottlenecks that process can make your book be late. And when your book is late, it's not good, because stores get mad at you, distributors get mad at you, fans get mad at you, and then you get this reputation for not delivering on time, and that's hard to get back. When you tick off people that are your clients. So that's one thing I really knew I can count on with Bill and Wayne, was that they were going to deliver product on time. And so what I was getting to was that Wayne, shortly after he was working for Parody Press, and actually quite a few people that worked for Parody Press went on to draw for the Marvel and DC, but Wayne was pretty known for working on DC Comics titles. I think he might be an exclusive inker for DC still. I see him on Instagram, and he's always posting like his work on Batman or Superman. So he has been an inker for DC for probably like 20 years. But I was sad, because on one hand, I was flattered that this guy that was so good that DC wanted him to ink like Batman was working for us. But at the same time, I understand why you would want to go work for a company that, where you get paid a lot more, and, there's a lot more kind of prestige with that. But he had humble beginnings, and he started with us. Some other people that I worked with that went on to bigger and better things were like Lionel Francis Yu. He does a lot of X-Men books now. Wolverine. Raf Yanko is another guy that worked for our company, and he does Star Wars covers and Darth Vader. And so it's kind of cool to know that these guys work with me, and they started when they were hungry. So it's 10 o'clock, guys. And that means it's time for another drawing for tonight. And I'm on full screen here. I don't want to be on full screen on my end so I can see what I'm doing. So if you're new to the chat, what I have going on, which I'll do in about a couple minutes, is if you've backed our book at xfarce.com, you'll get a backer number. So right now it looks like we have, I'm going to do a refresh here. Wow, 11 backers. We picked up one. So we're at almost over $800 in funding on our first couple hours, which is awesome. So any of you backers 1 through 11, get your keyboards ready because you're going to get a chance to win this book, which is Spider-Man. So what if Spider-Man lived in Jamaica and had a Jamaican accent? Well, you have to buy this book and find out. This is a Bill Mouse cover, and actually Thad Rhodes and Bill Mouse both did this cover. And when this book came out, which was, let's see, 1993, we actually did 3 different covers, and they were all interlocking. So on one side you had Carnage, and then on the other side you had Venom. So if you put all 3 together, you have one big interlocking prismatic foil cover. So this one's the middle cover of the lot of 3. And if you go to our eBay store, I'll try to find a little banner here, right here, where you can. We have an eBay store where we sell some of these back issues. There we go. So you got ebay.com/str/hobbies treasures. You can actually get some out of print books that we did, including all 3 covers of Spider-Man together. And they're selling for $50 for the set of 3. So this is just one single book. So I'd probably put the value somewhere around $15 to $18 for this comic book if you were to buy it. But it's got this, see that really cool prismatic foil effect. If you were ever stranded on an island and you needed a plane to see you would be good to have this on you, because then you could just shine it at the sun and try to catch their attention. Who needs food? Right? All right, so we're gonna do the countdown, and I'll do it with my hands. So after I get down to 1, you can type in your backer number, and whoever is the first one to get the backer number first in the comments will be the ones to win this comic book. Okay, Candace in our chat, she's 3 she's 3 for 3 tonight. She's won 3 of our books. This is number 4, so this is the last one for tonight until our party tomorrow. Okay, guys, so here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I know she can't resist the shiny. It's like women in diamonds. They got to have them, right? Right, Candace? She says she's trying to be good. Oh, Ayrton, you won. You eked her out. Congratulations, Ayrton. Ayrton finally won one. You must be sobering up after the 2 pints tonight. So Ayrton, I'm going to make a note here in my little binder book here. Okay, Ayrton wins Spider-Man. Good job, buddy. And I that one's not signed right now, Ayrton. If you want me to sign it, let me know. I can sign it. I was just the the editor and publisher on that one. All right. And he hasn't read that one. Cool. Congratulations. Let's see. Do we have any other questions in the chat? Thank you, Candace, for being a good sport. Let's see. Rob says he likes Sewage Dragoon. Yeah, that was a real fun one. That was a Bill Mouse epic. And that one I remember because the artwork was, it was very, very much in the style of Eric Larson. and Wayne Fauscher actually inked that one as well. So whenever you knew Bill and Wayne were going to be on an art team together, you knew that was going to be like one of the best parody press books, because they complemented each other quite a bit. Ayrton wants to know, is there going to be a third annual swimsuit edition? Oh gosh, probably not. I mean, unless Bill does one. It's like Parody Press is actually Bill's his imprint, because when I got out of comics, my wife and I gave him the blessing to run with Parody Press. So this venture of us coming back and doing X-Farce, it's kind of like Bill was gracious enough to let us just come back to the industry and use the Parody Press logo again, because it had some recognition. But yeah, we did a couple of swimsuit issues in the 90s of what Bill's take would be on different spoof characters in a swimsuit issue. There was actually a hamsters swimsuit edition story that I think I have on sale on eBay. It's let me see if I can find that on eBay. Let me do a look real quick here. Besides on our eBay store, which I think I still have the link on the page there. We have all sorts of other things for sale too. And I'm going to try to see if the hamsters story is on there. So while you see me typing, appreciate your patience. Yeah, it is here. Okay, so I'm going to share with you folks this little. Okay, so if you went to eBay and you wanted a heck of a deal, you could actually pick up the full Parody Press swimsuit issue #1 Black Belt Hamster story that was written. Actually, Bill Mouse wrote and drew this. So you get 7 pages of original artwork by Bill. And as far as I know, this is the first time he ever drew the hamsters. He never drew the hamsters for Eclipse. And I think as well as the 7 pages, you also get an autographed hamsters comic book by me. It's not the edition that the pages were printed in, but it's just the extra bonus by me. So in this hamster story, the hamsters are they meet like a swimsuit model, and they rescue her from a shark in the water. So you can kind of see some of the pages there. So yeah, so Bill definitely draws great funny animals and great, superheroes, as well as females. So if this is kind of your cup of tea, you could still buy this for $549, or if you even want to make us an offer we can't refuse. You can do that by going to our eBay store. So thanks for that little diversion, Ayrton, for the Parody Press swimsuit issue. Okay, you want me to sign it? Okay, I will. I'll sign it, buddy. Yeah, so let me go back to the eBay store. Yeah. What else, guys? What else can I tell you? Yeah, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time, I'm hoping that you'll see people like Mike Barron dropping by. Keith Gleason, who writes The Mighty Mascots, will be coming by. Delphin Barrel, who's our colorist supreme and also an artist in the book, should be coming by. He lives in New York. Michael Gracia should be here. We have Bill Mouse is supposed to join us. He lives over on the East Coast. and Ted Hellard, who actually is from my area, who drew the story for Mike Barron. I don't think he lives here anymore, but his family and my family kind of know each other from quite a ways back. And my brother-in-law was one of his best friends in school, and then Ted went off to become a cartoonist, and he's really good. I don't think a lot of people have seen his work, but when you see his story that he did for us with Mike Barron, you can definitely see that he's got a lot of potential. I think he actually teaches artwork like at school up in Oregon. I think he might be like a high school art teacher. So let's see, we got a comment here in the chat. Hey, there you are, Bill. That's good old Billy Mouse. Yeah, so Bill he's still over on the East Coast. His daughter Kat is also a great artist in her own right. In fact, Bill, I'll give you a little love, buddy. I have a link to your website. Let's see if I can find it. I tried to put it in alphabetical order so it would be easy to find. There you are, Bill. So if you want to see what Bill is up to, he's got a crowdfunding book out called Near X, and he's been doing that for the last couple decades. And Bill has commissions that he'll do for you. So if you say, hey, I want you to draw me like Batgirl or Batman or Superman or anything that your heart desires, you could contact him and ask him about commissions, and he will draw them for you. Well, let me go to your website, Bill. Bill Mouse. Is it art? Oops. Let me see. I'm trying to do this from memory. So let's see if this goes to his website. Yeah, cool. Okay, so I'm going to share you what happens when you go to Bill's website. So if you go to billmouseart.studio, you can see his Near X Zombies versus Cheerleaders campaign on Kickstarter. I'm not sure if you can still buy these issues or not. Bill could probably let us know in the chat, but he's got a bunch of different variant covers of his hero. This looked like it launched at the end of July, so I think the campaign is over on this one, but he may have back issues. So yeah, there's a buy stuff link here, and you can click on commissions. You can see his gallery. He's working on Beard Zerker for us right now, which is going to be like that Keanu Reeves parody that I told you about. So yeah, you can see he does great females. He's got like Spider-Woman and Catwoman, Lady Death, Princess Leia, Ant-Man, Venom. Venom's right here on the right, but we did a parody called Venom with a Venumb, and I can't remember what his power was, but he had just like this monstrously long tongue. But lo and behold, just in the last couple of weeks, I got an email from someone in Hungary, and they said, Don, we want to translate Venom in for a convention, and we want to translate it and put it in Hungarian language. And I said, that is really strange, but hopefully they'll get back to us. They only want to print like 300 books of Venom for a Hungarian Comic Con. And so we're still kind of chatting with this guy about doing that, but that would be the first time I think any one of our books was translated in another language, Bill, and it would be in Hungarian, a Hungarian Venom. Anyways, so Bill's there. Oh yeah, what's Bill have to say? So Bill's update on Near X is he's a week out from being done. Yeah, he got the flu a month ago and was running a little bit late. So Bill's going to have some. I think he's going to have some sketch cards for tomorrow. I haven't decided if we're, giving those away or auctioning them, but Bill will be there. And then I think Michael and Delphin will also be, they'll have some original artwork too. They might even draw live on the stream as we're chatting. So you can see artists in action, whether they're drawing with traditional pencil and ink, I'm not sure, or if they're going to do digital drawing, because that's the way a lot of people are going these days. Like Bill is proficient. He can draw both on pencil and ink as well as on a tablet. So if you folks if you'd like to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Real Don Chin, and that usually has a good update with what we're doing. And then Parody Press Comics has a presence online, and if you see it by that little scrolling ticker, if you go to parodypresscomics.com, that takes you to our Facebook page, and so you can kind of get behind the scenes updates on things that we're working on. And so we've got that going. Yeah, so I'll have links for everybody else tomorrow. So if you find a creator that you've never heard about before and you want to kind of see what they're up to, you might want to buy artwork from them. In this day and age, everybody could use a little more income. So we're hoping that besides getting paid for working on X-Farce, that perhaps these creators can generate a little more income from selling their artwork to you. See any more comments, guys? Thank you, Ray. Thank you for the shout out. Yeah, Bill's going to be on here tomorrow. He needs his beauty sleep. Oh, Rob, here you go. Rob had a good question there. Yes, Rob, actually Parody Press started first in like 92. And then during that first year, we were connected with Steve Stern, who was the guy that was doing Zen Intergalactic Ninja at the time. And Zen had just finished up being published at Archie. They did a Zen comic book series for Archie. And so he was looking for a new home for Zen. And we had kind of saw that Zen was gaining in popularity, and it was being licensed by the same guy that made the Ninja Turtles really big. A guy by the name of Mark Friedman was also the licensing person behind Zen. So we just thought, maybe lightning will strike twice in a bottle, because if Zen becomes as big as the Ninja Turtles, that could be a great title for us to, be the publishers on. So Steve approached us, and at the time, Bill and I were thinking, maybe we should explore doing superheroes and, other non-parody type books. So Entity Comics was the imprint that we came up with for our non-parody books. And so Zen number 0 was like the very first comic book that we did as an Entity comic book. And it was quite ambitious, because Steve said to us, we want you to try to have newsstand distribution on this book with Zen. And we had never done newsstand distribution. That was kind of a scary thing because I think you have to print the books ahead of time. You send them to the distributor, they put them on the racks, and then after like a month or two, they gather what they didn't sell, and you have to take them at their word that they sold what they said they would sell, and then you get paid for what they sold. And so it's kind of an honor system. And we had to print several thousand books to send to this newsstand distributor, and you have to print like a UPC code on it. Let me see if I can find a Zen book. I think I have one. Yeah. So Rob, this is for you. Just so you know, I do have my copy of Yawn, which was one of Bill's first image spoofs. Bill, if you remember, I don't remember how many we sold of this, but I think it might have been one of the best-selling Parody Press books. But we have, that was Yawn. So this is Zen number 0, the very first Entity Comics book. So you can see here on the where the UPC code normally would go that we had some editions that we sold to the comic book stores that didn't have the UPC code. But the UPC code, when you're a newsstand comic book, you have to have those because that's what they scan, at the checkout to ring up the price of the book. And so that was kind of a learning process to figure out how to buy the UPC code that corresponded to the item and its price. So it's a little more complicated than just printing, a Parody Press book that didn't have a UPC code. But anyway, Zen did pretty well on the newsstand. I don't think we kept the newsstand thing for more than a few issues, but this was like black and white, and it's Bill's, like one of his very first serious titles. And Bill, as far as I know, I think he's probably the longest running Zen artist. There's been several different teams on Zen, but I think that Bill kind of did more issues of that character than anyone else. And at Entity, we published, we probably published 20 to 30 issues of Zen. Some of them were in color and some of them were in black and white. And we did lots of science fiction books. And Nira X actually makes her first appearance in Zen. I think, yeah. On the very last page of Zen, Bill kind of got free reign. I mean, Steve Stern's a really easy guy to work with, and he would be basically the editor and writer on most of the Zen books. But he's very easy to work with. Let me take off my little Twitter thing here. Okay. So yeah, here on the last page of Zen is Nira X making her first appearance, and she's a female bounty hunter, and she's gets into it with Zen, but they eventually become partners, and they have a lot of adventures together. So that was from like 1993. That's the first Entity comic book. So to answer your question, Rob, yeah, we were kind of parent sister company. Entity was kind of more of like our serious arm, and then Parody Press was more of our humorous arm. And we did quite a few other superhero books with Entity, like Aster and Stigma, a lot of different kind of imagey type type books at the time. But Zen is dear to our heart. I mean, that kind of is basically the book that put us on the map as far as superheroes go. And I think Bill might still be working on some new Zen projects with Steve Stern. And so Steve's still plugging away, trying to get Zen. I think his big goal would be to get Zen as a movie. And he'd sold some rights to Zen, but he had his own video game back in the 90s that I think I went online and people are selling like the Zen Nintendo system game. If you have it like unopened in mint condition, I think I saw it honestly for like $1,000. People are diehard collectors. It was a really good game on the Nintendo, even though it was only like an 8-bit system. I remember playing Zen and it was hard. It was a really good challenging game for its time. What's that, Bill? Did I just say humorous and arm? I did. You're the punster, even at what, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning over there. And thank you, Ray. Ray says that Zen cover is gorgeous. This cover was unusual in that it was not painted or drawn. This is actually a sculpture that a guy named Tom Taggart did of Zen. I think they sold like a limited, I can't remember how much it was at the time. I have to go on eBay and see. It was a resin statue that Surge Licensing commissioned somebody to do, because like I said, they were the Turtles mastermind. So they knew who to connect to when it came to doing toys, sculptures, pajamas, everything that you can think of to license, because that's really where the Turtles kind of set itself apart from the pack. But anyway, Steve says, hey, I got this really cool sculpture that a guy did and he hand painted it. And what do you guys think about maybe putting it as the cover to the book? And we thought, wow, that's kind of a cool idea, because it looks, for 1993, it's not very many comic book characters had a 3D sculpture that looked really kick-ass. So that's one of your very few photo covers on a mainstream or independent comic book. It's actually a sculpture. So Rob says he remembers Zen interpreted by Sam Keith and Jay Lee. Yeah, Zen had a good run with us. We did a lot of we had a lot of good artists do Zen back in the day, including Sam and Jay. The chromium cover we did with Jay sold really well. I think we sold like 70,000 copies with the Jay Lee chromium cover. If you guys don't know what chromium is, it's kind of this metallic looking engraved material that most people, they were making trading cards like baseball cards out of chromium, and they were becoming a rage with baseball card collectors because they have this look to them that no other card had. It wasn't just your standard baseball card with a picture and a design. It was almost like not quite 3D, but it felt like you were holding kind of an engraved card that looked like was somewhat metal. And so when they did that on comics, like with Valiant Comics did Bloodshot, that was like the very first chromium book that ever came out. The fans went nuts. I mean, I think just based on cover alone, a chromium cover, could sell like 1 million copies just because it was so unique. Whoa. Ray just said, wow. Did you hear that, guys? He said, I just found a 9.2 graded and slabbed Nintendo Entertainment System Zen on eBay for $7,000. So, yeah, if you look in your attic and you have a copy of Zen that you haven't unopened, I'll pay you $100 for it. Just call me. I'll pay for the shipping over here too if you want it. I'm not cheap. Seriously though, that's crazy. That's probably one of the highest games I've seen out there for a while. Candace, thank you so much for staying up. Appreciate you, and I'll keep your comics safe. I'll make sure my dogs don't get a hold of them because that wouldn't be cool. Bill says you have not seen the last of a mouse-drawn Zen project. Foreshadowing. So yeah, I kind of heard through the grapevine they were working on that. Oh man, Rob, you got all the questions tonight. I'm not going to get to sleep. I'm going a half hour over than what I thought I would. How did Captain Nauticus happen? That's going to have to be a question for another show because I got to save my voice. I have like 3 or 4 different streams to go on tomorrow, but that's a good question. Save that for another show. Probably best when Bill and I are together because that's a long story. Captain Nauticus is a hero based on like not really a theme park, but more of a naval educational exhibit in Norfolk, Virginia called Nauticus. And so when we were publishing comics in the 90s back in Virginia Beach area, word got around that we were good at making comics. So this advertising agency reached out to us and asked us to come up with Captain Nauticus. So I'm kind of answering your question, Rob. You milked it out of me, but let me see if I can find Captain Nauticus real quick here so you guys can see what we're talking about. I'm pretty sure these are on eBay, but oh, here we go. But I'm just doing a DuckDuckGo search here. Oh, I did a search and it only shows me like half of the comic book, which isn't really gonna. That's not the effect that we want. Well, let me just kind of show you first what Nauticus was. Oh, I'm getting a forbidden error. That's not good. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so if you guys can kind of see the middle where I'm circling with my mouse, that's what Nauticus was in the 90s. It was right on the harbor, and you could like look at like naval ships, and it had marine life exhibits in it. You could pretend like you were an anchor person on the Weather Channel, but really it was more of a maritime infotainment exhibit. And so what their plan was to do a superhero called Captain Nauticus. Let me see if I can pull up a large image. Yeah, this is like, this doesn't really show the logo of him, but it's Bill's artwork. So Entity wasn't, they basically wanted to do these comic books to sell at the exhibit itself. So we teamed up with an advertising agency, and they said, let's make a guy that's kind of like Aquaman, but specifically for Nauticus. So we came up with Captain Nauticus, and he has like this pet seal, and he has a whole team of people that are, on his side to basically be kind of like an environmental protector for the for the seas, a little bit like Aquaman. This is kind of cool. This is like a 2-page spread that's in the book. I think he comes from another planet and he winds up landing on Earth, and then that becomes his mission, is to preserve the ocean and the wildlife in the ocean. So that was one of Bill's pages from that. And we distributed it through comic book stores as well. That's the second issue where he kind of goes up against his nemesis. I can't remember what the name of the nemesis was, but yeah, this book was pretty cool. It it was for all ages, and it had a a good message to to not pollute our environment, and it was done on nice glossy paper. Yeah, so this is kind of what Nauticus looks like. I don't know if it's still running. Actually, Bill, you probably know. That's 2015, according to the credit on the photo. But Bill still lives in the area where Nauticus was. So I'm not. It's probably still a naval museum. But back in the day when they did Captain Nauticus, they actually had fireworks and all sorts of stuff like that. So Rob got his comic book at the comic book store. Yeah. Hey, Ayrton, good night. If you've already gone, appreciate you hanging in there. Rob, you are a night owl as well, my friend. Looks like we still have around 9 people here, but I'll just play one more short trailer on X-Farce, folks, as a good night. But if you still would like to back it, feel free to pop on over to xfarce.com. Wow, we hit over $1,000. Thanks, guys. That's in our first 3 hours. That's outstanding. So I really want to appreciate it. We might even hit our goal by tomorrow. That would be amazing. So I'm going to just go ahead and end our show tonight, and I'm going to play our trailer one more time. I'll play the shorter version, like a 1 minute 15 second one. But let me just clear my screen here and make sure that you guys have a clear screen here. Oh, Goat Bacon. Thank you, Goat Bacon, for getting the lunchbox. I never had goat bacon before. It doesn't sound very appetizing. Rob says, thanks, Don. Is there going to be a digital tier? Unfortunately not. We thought about it, at least not for the time being, because we just thought that a digital tier, as convenient as it is for readers, that it would just it was just, my wife and I just thought that it would kind of make the value of the printed copies lessen if there was a digital copy out there. So at this point in time, we don't have any plans to do like a PDF file of X-Farce, unfortunately. So I apologize, but at this time, we just want to concentrate on the printed version of X-Farce. Maybe down the road we might consider doing digital, but at this point in time, there's not a digital tier plan. So, anyways, guys, I want to again thank you for hanging in there, and please join our show tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time. If you go to my YouTube page, you can sign up and subscribe, so that way you know when we're ever going to do a broadcast. Excuse me. And you can also go to parodypresscomics.com or on our Twitter page, which is at RealDonChin. We have at parody_press as well on Twitter. So I'm going to take us out with a little promo for X-Farce. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Thank you.
My name is Professor Baldy, and I run a school for juvenile delinquents. You might even call them mutants. Trust a few reformed ex-cons: Tangerine, Jeannie Gray, Beastie Boy, Snow Cone, and their friends from X-Farce, Cable TV, Garfarel, Dominoes, and introducing the Newt Mutants. Beware the rest: Magneto, Mistress Piggy, and Cesspool. Now, Parity Press Comics is back with X-Farce Reloaded #1. Don't miss this extraordinary comics extravaganza with 7-fold color stories of marvelous mutant mayhem. Back this book today for awesome variant covers and original artwork tiers. 48 pages of action and hilarious hijinks by some of comics' funniest talents. Parity Press, making the world laugh again. Only on Indiegogo.